First of all, I would like to thank FORESchool management and TEDx organizers to calling me here and discuss a cliche subject like ghost. I feel like an opportunity to discuss it with you all here. Let me introduce myself to you a little bit more. I was born in a family of non-believers, and my mindset before I got into this field was of a non-believer. I was a commercial pilot earlier, and being a technical guy, being a commercial pilot, I never had time to believe in such sort of thing called ghosts or spirits or paranormal. Suddenly someday in 2002 or 2003, I experienced my first paranormal event, and that challenged my belief system. I was on a stage whether I should believe or not believe. I was living in an apartment in Florida, and that place was haunted. We started witnessing things like poltergeist activity and unusual things around our home. Initially, we thought that someone is trying to play some prank on us, or there was someone doing some mischief just to scare us. And in order to find who was doing that, we installed CCTVs and different kind of cameras in our home, like as you have seen in paranormal activity movies. But this was way much before the movie was released, and similar kind of things happened with me. Then I seriously got to look into this field and paranormal. So I joined ParaNexus Association in Florida to find out, is there any reality to the paranormal? And being a commercial pilot, I used to fly to different destinations around in America. And wherever I used to go, I used to find some haunted spot to investigate and learn more about the paranormal happening, paranormal events. And as talking about ghosts and spirits, I was not sure if we survive our physical death, or is there any existence of spirit in the world. So now, in order to understand everything, I went to different haunted locations around the world. And initially, I was very scared of such kind of thing when I started witnessing. Even being a non-believer, I was scared. Actually, it was fear of unknown that we all have. So how did I understand ghosts? What are ghosts and what are spirits? That was my question, which was growing up every day in my mind. What are they actually? Why people do not consider them? A lot of people don't believe in that. But before I start telling you about ghosts and spirits, more about nature of paranormal activity, I would like to know from you, how many of you are believers? Can you raise your hand? Very few, very few. Most of you are non-believers of ghosts. You think ghosts do not exist. How many of you feel that ghosts do not exist? Can you raise your hand? All right. See, initially when I thought, a lot of people told me that ghosts are just imagination or product of some, mental disorders, or it is just absolute nothing. Ghosts are just really imaginative things. So what I did, as being a paranormal investigator, my job was to find what actually ghosts are. So a lot of people say ghosts do not exist. Ghosts are psychological manifestation, psychological disorder. But you can see the existence of ghosts. That's the truth. Just like any other mental disorder, such as bipolar disease or schizophrenia. Even if it is a symptom of a mental disorder, it does exist. You cannot deny that ghosts do not exist. Even their mental sickness, they are there in the world. And being a paranormal researcher, I used to go and find out what actually they are. A lot of people have experienced ghosts even when they are mentally fit, or they have no psychological disorder, or they are just normal people just like you and me. Like me, I was a non-believer and I experienced something. So, in order to understand ghosts and spirits and afterlife, I started studying about our real life, about humanity, about human mind, about human brain, about human consciousness. And the consciousness word really impressed me. We all are conscious beings, and we all have consciousness. And there are a lot of documented evidence in the world that our consciousness can survive physical death. There are more than 10 million cases of near-death experience around the world, where people have died physically and they were declared clinically dead by the doctors. Their heartbeat started, they stopped. Activity of physical activity in the body stopped, biological activity in the body stopped, and they were declared dead by doctors. And after a few hours, they were back to life. And all these people, accounting all these people who experienced near-death experience, NDE, they all had similar experience. Most of the cases, they could define it by, mental disorder or any chemical reaction while dying. But there was a similarity in all the cases, that they all felt they have come out of their body, and their just personality survived the physical death. In 1960, Dr. Raymond Moody termed a coin called shared death experience after researching with a lot of hospitals and doctors and nurses. In shared death experience, it was seen that in the clinic, when a person is dying or a patient is dying, even the doctors and nurses used to witness the same thing, that they have come out of their body when the patient was dying. And they could see the person leaving his body, and then everything was back to normal. So this was called shared death experience. So do we survive our physical death? We have two proofs in the world, that is called near-death experience and shared death experience. So this proves that our consciousness can survive physical death. And if we can survive our physical death, what we are actually? Where do we live in our body? We have a physical body and a mental body. Suppose if someone goes blind, does physical world mean anything to him? Where is he living? In the mental world. And this mentality is our consciousness, that consists of personality. Our personality consists our anger, our pain, our love, our affection, and our perception of the world and ourselves. And this is what survives after our physical death. But what are ghosts and what are spirits? That we got to understand. We all have spirits. Spirit is a consciousness. But who are ghosts? Ghosts are only the people who survived their physical death, and they are still attached to something in the physical world because of their emotion, their pain, or any kind of thing that can make them stay here, or any fear. So, according to the research around the world, this paranormal research has been going around in the world for the last 300 years, and we have come up with a lot of empirical evidence suggesting that we are not alone in this world. And this world, what we see as a physical world, is not the only thing that we see. There have been a lot of experiments conducted in physics and metaphysics and quantum mechanics that showed that we have a dual nature. Every electron has a dual nature. It was also imperated by double slit theory, where electrons were beamed on a double slit, and it was seen that every electron has a dual nature. One is physical, and one is a wave-like property, a radio-like property. So, according to a lot of quantum mechanics research, we all have a dual nature. One is physical, and we have a wave-like property or energy that is vibrating very, very quickly that we cannot see, and that consists of our personality. Even biological science today is confused about mind and brain mystery. There is a mind and brain mystery. We all know that we have brain, and we also have mind. Science accepts that we have a mind, but no one knows what is the locality of mind. Where is our mind? With a lot of researchers, we got to know that our mind is non-local. It's not within our body. And science is still confused about brain-mind mystery. So everything boils down to a fact that we do have a spirit, and we do survive our physical death. According to our research, when we started researching about spirits and ghosts, spirits were found to be of different kind. Like when we survive a physical death, we are just human spirits. There are also animal spirits. There are also inhuman spirits. But the proof of human spirits are more than anything in this world. We have a lot of proofs around the world. So we began to research about the paranormal activity or haunting. You know, the word haunting is not necessarily related to ghosts. Haunting is an English word that suggests that someone is visiting a place frequently. If I start coming to TEDx every time, you'll say that Gaurav Tiwari is haunting TEDx. So that doesn't necessarily mean I'm a ghost. But usually in the world, the word called haunting is always associated with ghosts. So to we found out that there are so many kinds of haunting that took place around the world. We categorized the word haunting into different things. Like the first category is called intelligent haunting, in which a spirit is haunting a place, is visiting a place, and is able to communicate intelligently with the living people. There is also residual activity or imprint haunting or place haunting, in which there is no actual spirit, but the emotion that was triggered in the past keeps repeating itself. Like, I'll give you an example. There's a fort in Pune called Shaniwar Vara Fort. It is said that on every Friday after 8 p.m., everyone can hear the same thing every Friday, someone shouting and screaming for help, as if someone is dying, but they can see no one. This thing keeps repeating every Friday, and always on full moon night. That shows it is residual haunting. That means residual haunting is kind of thing where there is no actual spirit involved, but there is something imprinted on the fabric of time which keeps repeating itself because of some condition, some certain condition, atmospheric condition or anything else. We are still not able to find what is the actual reason for residual haunting. Then there's also poltergeist activity, which you might have heard in a lot of movies. Poltergeist is basically a German word. Polter is noisy and geist is ghost. So the noisy ghosts are called poltergeists, which create a lot of noise in your house. There's a lot of physical activity in the house. But we found out that poltergeist activity is not associated with ghost. A lot of times, even human beings, human emotion is able to trigger the poltergeist activity around you. Especially in adolescent girls or teenagers who are going through hormonal changes can trigger poltergeist activity if they are deeply depressed or repressed within themselves and they're not able to express their emotion outside to the world. They are full of emotion, and sometimes our brain has this tendency, our mind has this capability to project our emotion through force. According to parapsychology, our mind can do two things. One is ESP, and second one is psychokinesis or telekinesis. ESP is extrasensory perception. In that, we get information from outside world which we do not have in our mind. And psychokinesis is a tendency in which we can apply the power or force through the mind to move an object. Or, there are a lot of cases in which people bend spoons. They can move objects with their power of mind. When we survive our physical death, or when there is a ghost, it can only do two things. One is ESP, second is psychokinesis. There is nothing any ghost can do which a human being cannot do. I mean, ghosts are not magical. They're nothing to be scared of. They are just our consciousness that survive physical death. And in order to communicate, spirits try to use the power of psychokinesis and ESP to communicate with living beings. So should we be scared of ghosts? The first question is that. Do we need to be scared of ghosts? No. Why? Because they were just people who survive physical death. What happens usually in the world, why people are afraid of ghosts? Because fear of unknown. If I'm a ghost, if I find myself dead some morning or some night, and I get up and see my body lying there, I'll be confused. I'll be thinking that, what happened to me? I'll go to my friends. I'll try to speak with them. See, I have survived. I don't know what happened to me. There's my body lying and I'm still here. But they are not able to watch me. So I'll try my best to get their attention, to get noticed. So I'll use all my power, using the power of mind like psychokinesis or ESP to just give them a hint. I would rather move an object to make myself noticed. And if someone sees me moving an object and he says, oh my God, it's a ghost, and he'll run away, I'll get frustrated. So there's nothing to be scared of if you ever experience any paranormal activity. Just imagine that someone is trying to get noticed. It's not that someone is trying to scare you. Again, paranormal, you must have heard this word called paranormal. Paranormal is not only ghost. Paranormal is anything that cannot be replicated in a scientific lab. It consists UFOs, any mysterious happening that you cannot replicate. spirits, and whatnot. I mean, there's a lot of things which are categorized under paranormal, and I specially research on ghosts and UFOs. So, now, I would like to be a little interactive with you all, since we are running out of time. Any questions about ghosts or spirits that you have in your mind? Would like to ask something about spirit and ghost, or anything which you don't believe? I mean, you must have heard a lot of things about paranormal activity and all. Yes, please. Ouija board or Ouija board was actually a toy. You know, it uses your idiomotor effect of body. There's no reality to it. And it's a human propensity to gossip about things. So when you want to experience things, you'll definitely experience things. In Ouija board actually happens that your unconscious mind is moving the planchette and you think that ghost is moving the object. Actually, your unconscious mind consists all the information. There's a theory called holographic universe. Like in a hologram, if you slice it into pieces, the entire information would be contained in all the slices that you have. Universe is similar to that. Even you have all the information about me that you are not aware about, but your unconscious mind knows it. So when you're using Ouija board, you're actually answering, your unconscious mind is answering the question, and you think that ghost is answering the question. Yeah. Yes. See, a movie is all about entertainment. If I show a movie where a ghost is just not trying to harm you, you probably won't watch that movie, because it's not entertaining you with the scare factor, with the horror factor. Yes, sir. Possessions, very good question. I have experienced a lot of possession cases and I've researched on that. What happens actually, possession is not that spirit enter your body and tries to control your mind. It's actually about influence. Suppose if you see your friend very discouraged, very depressed, sitting next to you, even if he doesn't say anything, if you sit next to him, you'll start feeling drained. You'll start feeling discouraged. We often get influenced with others' emotional energy. Suppose if you see someone laughing somewhere on the street, he's a stranger to you. He's laughing in such a manner that you also start laughing. It triggers your emotion. So in possession, what happens? Spirits are basically emotional, emotional body. So if their emotions are very intense, you can be influenced sometimes. People with low self-esteem actually, who do not have any self-acceptance or low self-esteem, can easily get influenced with others' emotional energy. And that is the possession. Yes, sir. Please. Yeah. Spirits can manifest themselves into 39 different ways. And one is as possession and apportion. They have this capability to move objects and displace objects and make them reappear on the place. This is one of the ways they try to show themselves. Any other question, please? Yeah. See, there are a lot of experience, but the time is up. So I would like to call the organizer or the... Yeah, ma'am, please tell me. Yeah. Shall I continue? All right. So my experience. I would like to discuss about an experience in Australia. I was in Aradale Lunatic Asylum. This is a facility by government of Australia. It used to be a mental asylum. And around 10,000 people died there. You know, earlier in conviction time, Australia used to be a convict land. A lot of convicts were used to punish. And in this asylum, 10,000 people were killed. The lunatic people, people who had mental disorders, they were killed there. And this place became so haunted that government just completely stopped any function. And it is now used as a ghost tour venue by the government. They charge ticket if you want to experience real ghost. You can go there and be there on certain money or ticket they sell. So I was there investigating with my team. I was doing a show called Haunting Australia. And we were exploring the most haunted places in Australia there. I tried to push myself to a limit. I was challenged to get into a morgue chiller. You know, mortuary where dead bodies are kept. So I got into the chiller. It was very claustrophobic, and you know how it feels to get in the chiller where you know that 10,000 corpses have laid down, and I was all enclosed, and I took out my recorder, and I started communicating with anyone living there. This is what we do, actually. And there is a thing called electronic voice phenomena. Thomas Edison started this recording. He used a recorder to communicate with his dead mother. He used to speak with his dead mother, he used to play back the recorder, and he used to find the voices were recorded of his dead mother. And this is how EVP came into the picture. So we always use EVP recorders to capture any ghostly noise. In the morgue, I was all alone, and I was being monitored by a CCTV installed there inside the morgue. And I started asking question, are you here? And I was not getting any response to any of my questions. And I was just making fun, like, oh my God, it's very chilly outside, I'm feeling very warm here, I might sleep in the morgue because I'm feeling very comfortable. And when I played back the recorder, there were two voices. One, someone is trying to scream for some help, like, help me. This was the voice. And second one was like, do you think they can help you? Let's go, ha ha ha. So what I felt that I did not hear that with my live ears. It was in my recorder. I also took some pictures, and I found apparition. One of my pictures in the same morgue has been the best pictures captured ever in the world in 2015. You can search it on internet. And there are a lot of experiences something like that that really shows you that there is something more to this world. Even you can try yourself. You can take an EVP recorder or any dictaphone or any voice recorder, electronic voice recorder, even your mobile phone which can record voices. And you can try asking questions in the air and try to play it back. And 80% chances are there that you might find a word which you did not hear while the time of recording. Right? Anything else? I would like to conclude now, and thank you very much for tolerating me listening about ghosts and spirits. Thank you very much. Have a great day.